My name is Sophie Bennett, and I'm 29 years old. When I was just 12, my parents made a choice that shattered my world. They left me in foster care to chase dreams of fame and fortune with my sister, Isabel, a violin prodigy they believed would lift our family to greatness. While they traveled Europe for her music, I learned to survive alone, building a life they never thought I could. Now, I'm a successful financial advisor with a home of my own, while they're jobless, desperate, and reaching out after 17 years of near silence. An email sits in my inbox, begging for help, and I have to decide what these people who abandoned me truly deserve. Before I tell you what happened when my parents came crawling back, let me know where you're watching from in the comments, and subscribe if you want more stories about family betrayal and finding your own worth. My earliest memories of our life in suburban Portland paint a picture that seems almost too perfect, like a magazine ad hiding cracks beneath the fake smiles. From ages 6 to 10, I thought we were a normal, happy family. We lived in a 3-bedroom house with a gray fence and a backyard where my dad, Michael, pushed me and Isabel on the swings every Sunday. My mom, Catherine, was a cellist in her youth but became a music teacher at the local school. She said she was happy, but her eyes lingered on concert posters we passed. Dad worked as a sales manager for a mid-sized company. A good job, but not the creative dream he wanted. Then there was my sister, Isabel, 2 years older, and a world apart in everything that mattered to our family. The first hint we weren't like other families was the music room, a converted den with Mom's old cello and a special case for Isabel's violins. My school awards? They went on a small board in the kitchen, hidden by grocery lists. I noticed the shift around 7. My parents' faces glowed when Isabel played, a look I never got, not even for perfect math scores or winning the science fair. It crept in slowly. Mom skipping book club for Isabel's lessons, Dad working late to buy her a better violin, vacations planned around her music camps instead of fun places. The sting hit hard on my 8th birthday. My party was canceled for Isabel's recital. "We'll celebrate next weekend, Sophie girl," Mom promised, packing Isabel's dress. But next weekend became next month, then just a quick cupcake at breakfast before another rehearsal. I found my worth elsewhere, diving into math and science where numbers made sense, unlike the chaos of home. Mom quit teaching when I was 9, saying Isabel's talent needed her full time. Dad's forehead creased with worry over money, but he agreed. I silently calculated how much of our budget went to just one of us. That year, Isabel's teacher called her a once-in-a-generation talent, a phrase that became our family's mantra, justifying every sacrifice, every time I was told to be quiet or skip coding club because Isabel needed a new bow. I tried to be the good daughter, believing if I achieved enough, they'd see me. I clung to small moments, Dad teaching me to bike one free Saturday, Mom brushing my hair while reading Isabel's schedule, rare movie nights when Isabel was sick. But those were scraps, given only when Isabel's needs didn't come first. By my 10th birthday, just a cake after Isabel's practice, the truth was clear. In our family, Isabel was the sun, and I was a distant planet, orbiting but never warmed by their light. The gap widened when Isabel at 12 won a major youth symphony competition, catching the eye of top violin teachers worldwide. I remember the letter arriving, gold seal shining. Mom's hands trembled as she read it aloud, voice rising. Dad opened champagne they'd saved for special moments, none of which included my straight A's that year. "This changes everything," Dad said, lifting Isabel up while I cleared dishes, unseen. Weeks later, our home changed. The guest room became Isabel's soundproof practice space. My request for new school clothes? Denied. But they found money for a $10,000 violin, funded by a second mortgage. "We're investing in our future," Mom said when I asked why I couldn't go to tech camp, her tone calling me selfish. Arguments grew, hushed after bedtime, words like financial strain and Isabel's future slipping through my wall. Dinners turned into strategy sessions for Isabel's career. Competitions, teachers, pieces to show her skill. I solved math in my head to feel alive. My science fair win, earning a scholarship, got a distracted nice job, while Isabel's unplaced recital got a fancy dinner. Dad worked longer, bringing Isabel gifts, sheet music, Baurosen, while my homework questions were brushed off. Mom became Isabel's manager, scheduling, researching, documenting her journey. My events? Unattended. That summer, Mom took Isabel to a 3-week workshop in Chicago, leaving me with a neighbor while Dad traveled. When they returned, Isabel was different. Aloof, calling her music friends her real peers, rolling her eyes at my boring school life, parroting words like provincial she barely understood. The final betrayal came one rainy night. Sent from the dinner table early for important talk with Isabel, I overheard Mom in the kitchen. "Sophie's holding Isabel back," she said, words cutting me as I froze in the hall. "Every dollar on Sophie's normal kid stuff is money we could use for Isabel's extraordinary future." Dad sighed, not disagreeing. "She's still our daughter, Catherine." Mom's laugh was sharp. "But only one can lift us out of this average life. Are you willing to sacrifice Isabel's talent for Sophie's camp?" Silence. Then Dad, quiet, "We'll make it work for both." But I knew. In their eyes, I was the lesser child, my dreams worthless next to Isabel's. My 11th birthday passed forgotten. No card, no cake. Everyone focused on Isabel's audition with a famous conductor. I didn't remind them, my disappointment mine to carry, hidden like always. If this hurts your heart, keep watching or listening to see how I survived. Hit subscribe to follow my fight. The end came with a letter from the Hoffman Academy in Zurich, sealed in wax like a royal decree. Mom treated it like treasure, opening it at breakfast while I ate cereal, Isabel at practice. "They're offering Isabel a full scholarship," Mom whispered, voice shaking. Dad grabbed it, eyes wide. "This is everything," he said, gripping Mom's hands, forgetting me as they planned. "The term starts in 2 months, Mom said, already packing in her mind. My cereal went soggy as Dad muttered, "The housing stipend won't fit us all." His eyes flicked to me, then away, a stab to my heart. Nights after, I heard them argue behind their door. "We can't afford to move everyone," Dad said. "What about Sophie?" Mom's reply, "Isabel's future comes first." I tried to believe they'd include me, maybe an American school abroad, maybe sacrifices for all of us. But the family meeting crushed that hope. Isabel sat with Mom, both glowing. "Sophie, we have big news," Dad started, his tone cold like a done deal. "Isabel's got a once-in-a-lifetime chance," Mom said, squeezing Isabel's hand, not mine. "The Hoffman Academy is the best in Europe. Almost no Americans get in." I nodded, still hoping. Then Dad, using Sophie girl for the first time in months, a bad sign. "We can't all go. The stipend's small, and Zurich's expensive." Silence stretched. Mom spoke, "We've arranged for you to stay with a foster family here in Oregon, just a year or 2 while we settle. The Carters have 3 other foster kids and are highly rated." My world spun. Foster care? They weren't just leaving, they were giving me away. "You're putting me in foster care?" I whispered. Dad rushed in. "It's temporary. Once Isabel's set and I find work, we'll bring you over." Mom leaned forward, all fake care. "Sophie, if you love your sister, you'll see this is for all of us." I looked at Isabel, begging her to speak. She studied her hands, a small smile on her lips, dreaming of Zurich. "We'll call weekly," Dad promised, touching my shoulder. "Maybe visit at Christmas." The next weeks were a blur. They packed, deciding what went to Europe or storage, barely asking what I needed. I got 2 suitcases, Mom checking I took nothing valuable, meaning Isabel's stuff. I met the Carters once, at a cold social services office. They seemed okay but businesslike, explaining rules and chores while my parents nodded, happy to dump me. The last day, they dropped me at the office, not the foster home, citing their flight. "This isn't goodbye, just see you later," Mom said, hugging me stiffly, checking her watch. Dad held me longer, tears in my hair, the only real emotion. "We'll call soon," he said. Isabel gave a half hug, mind elsewhere. "Don't touch my stuff in storage," she said, like that was my worry. I watched them drive off, Isabel not waving, a hard shell forming inside me. My social worker, Miss Harper, drove me to the Carters in silence, her pity useless against the empty ache in my chest. If this breaks you, keep watching or listening for how I fought back. Subscribe to see my strength. The Carter house was small, crammed with bunk beds and strict storage rules. My roommate Talia, 13 and in foster care since 5, barely looked up as I unpacked into one drawer. That first night, in a strange bed with odd sounds, I cried silently, not wanting Talia or the Carters to hear. I realized this wasn't a family sacrifice, it was me being sacrificed for Isabel's dreams. The Carters ran a tight ship, emotions second to logistics. Their biological kids got first pick, food, bathroom time. Long-term fosters were next, newbies like me last. Privacy? Gone. The bedroom was tiny, the bathroom shared by 7 on a 15-minute schedule. Even my stuff wasn't safe unless labeled. Weekly calls from my parents started okay but were rushed, full of Zurich's beauty and Isabel's progress, barely asking about me. Soon they dropped to monthly, always with excuses. Time zones, schedules. Christmas brought the first big lie. The promised visit was cancelled for Isabel's new violin. I got a Zurich snow globe and a generic card, while their social media showed them at markets and concerts, a family without me. School was brutal. Kids whispered I was the girl nobody wanted. "What's wrong with you?" one asked, hitting my deepest fear, that I was unlovable. My grades slipped, and the Carters added study hours, not support. But Miss Larson, my English teacher, saw me struggling and offered her room at lunch, a safe space. "You're not the first to find strength in hard times," she said, a former foster kid herself. "You're capable." Her belief was a spark I held tight, pushing me to excel. 6 months in, the Carters cut back on fostering when Mrs. Carter got pregnant. I moved to the Thompsons, a smaller, colder home where fostering was a duty, not love. I joined their prayers and church to blend in, keeping my distance. 8 months later, they moved to Idaho, and I went to the Russells, an older couple who gave basics but no warmth. By 14, I was tough, self-sufficient, excelling at school as my escape. My parents' calls were rare, triggered by Isabel's wins, not me. When I asked about joining them, Dad's silence hurt. "Isabel's training is intense," Mom said. "You're thriving here." My success became their excuse. I didn't need them, so they didn't come. My 16th birthday passed, ignored. An email from Dad said they'd stay in Europe for Isabel's extended program. "You're so independent, Sophie," he wrote, words burning. That night, I decided to stop waiting. I asked Miss Larson to help me apply for emancipated minor status. "Are you sure?" she asked. "It's what I need," I said. "They've moved on, so will I." If you're cheering my fire, keep watching or listening. Subscribe for the big moment. High school graduation was bittersweet. Miss Larson cheered as I crossed the stage, giving me daisies, worth more than my parents' late email about Isabel's workshops. A scholarship to State University was my ticket out. I worked library shifts, clothing store weekends, and summer internships, budgeting like a pro. My finance major suited my love for logic. Numbers didn't betray. My roommate Ava, a lively marketing major, became my first real friend. "You're a badass," she said, not pitying but admiring my strength. She pulled me into study groups and parties, teaching me trust. Sophomore year, I met Nathan, an economics major whose tough childhood bonded us. Our relationship was careful, built on trust, not flings. His family welcomed me, Sunday dinners, holiday gifts, calling me a sister. Their warmth healed but sometimes hurt, reminding me of my parents' rejection. Panic attacks hit junior year after a rare call from Mom. Dr. Ellis, a campus therapist, helped me see my self-protection was limiting me. "You survived," she said. "Now you can live." Therapy taught me to process grief and build bonds without fear. Graduation came, cheered by Ava, Nathan, Miss Larson, and Nathan's family, my chosen family. I joined Peak Financial as a junior advisor, my research on financial trauma impressing a professor. My modest salary, stretched by skills from foster care, bought a small apartment. By 27, I was a senior advisor, helping clients like me build wealth. My 2-bedroom townhouse with warm colors and cozy furniture was my home, stable, mine. Nathan proposed in our kitchen, his nervous grin melting me. My yes felt like victory. Contact with my family stayed minimal, generic cards, rare messages. Online, I saw Isabel's career, solid but no prodigy, with mid-tier orchestra roles, no major wins. It brought no joy, just sadness for our broken family. If you're hooked on my rise, keep watching or listening for the twist. Subscribe now. The email hit like a bomb on a Tuesday. Catherine Bennett in my inbox after 2 years of silence. Coffee spilled as I stared, heart racing. In a bathroom stall, I opened it, hands shaking. Mom's words poured out, a mix of excuses and pleas. They were struggling. Isabel's career stalled. Dad lost his job at a music school. Mom's students gone. Facing eviction and deportation, they needed money for tickets and housing. "We followed your success," she wrote. "We're proud. This could reunite us." She admitted, regrettable distance, but justified their choices, hoping to heal wounds in person. I barely worked, booking a session with Dr. Ellis. Part of me wants to delete it, I said, pacing. Part wants to send tickets to nowhere. Part wants them to see me and admit they were wrong. She asked, what does each choice give you? What does it cost? I talked to Nathan, whose anger for me was a balm. Don't let them hurt you again, he said. Ava saw manipulation in Mom's words, but a chance for closure. They see you as a resource, she said. But you can set terms. I verified their claims. Dad's school had restructured. Their building had vacancies. Sleepless nights brought fantasies. Rejecting them, reconciling, or helping minimally. Nathan and I met a lawyer to protect my finances from future demands. Then Isabel emailed, raw and honest. I was 14, too young to understand, but I should have fought for you. I'm sorry for my part. I respect whatever you decide. Her words broke me, showing she, too, was shaped by our parents' warped priorities. After a week, walking through crunchy leaves, I found my path. Not rejection, not full embrace, but boundaries. With Nathan and Dr. Ellis, I wrote back. I'd buy economy tickets, lease a 6-month apartment, and get Dad a job interview. They'd join therapy with Dr. Chen, an expert in family splits. This isn't an open door to family, I wrote. Trust was broken. Help is for your crisis, not forgiveness. Reconciliation depends on you owning the past. They agreed, Mom hoping we'd move past old hurts, missing the point. I arranged flights and housing, Nathan at my side at the airport. Seeing them was a shock. Parents aged, worn, Isabel tall, anxious. Mom reached for a hug, I offered a handshake. Thank you, Dad said, stunned by my confidence. Isabel just nodded, eyes red. Dinner was stiff, their stories polished, blaming market forces for failure. We always meant to bring you, Mom said. I cut in. Family isn't automatic. It's built on presence. We start with therapy. Their shock showed they expected forgiveness, not work. 3 months later, Dad worked. Mom took retail. Isabel taught violin, finding purpose. Therapy with Dr. Chen was tough. Parents minimized, but Isabel's letter, written as 12-year-old me, broke Dad. We abandoned you because it was easier, he sobbed, finally seeing. It opened a door to slow, real connection. For my wedding, there'll be guests, not parents. Miss Larson walks me down, honoring true support. If you love this journey, keep watching or listening. Subscribe for more. My strength grew not in revenge, but in building a life so full that pain became just a chapter. My family, Nathan, Ava, Miss Larson, Dr. Ellis, chose me, proving love is action, not blood. I told that scared 12-year-old her abandonment was a painful start to a better life. Share your story of rebuilding after betrayal in the comments, and subscribe for more on healing and strength. Family is who shows up. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're love for yourself.